guys, and welcome back to Virginia Buck Wild. It's been a while since we put out a video. We've made a few videos, but we had a few snafus with the editing and some issues with the videos themselves, so they kind of got scrapped. I'm out here today at the range. We have my old Wolf CVA 50 caliber muzzleloader. I set it up for the girls, put a shorter stock on it, and got a little cheek riser so that they could shoot it. Drop the scope on it a little bit. And what we're doing today is I set up my Blackhorn 209 at 50 grains to shoot. I shoot 100, I think it's 120 by volume, which is close to like 80 by weight. I have 50 by weight for the girls, which is a little less than 80 grains by volume. Based on the velocity, it should be pretty good for deer hunting under 100 yards, which is what I plan on doing with them. I'll show you a little setup here. That's the range. Target's out there at 50. So I got the Wolf, and that's the compact stock with a little neoprene cheek riser on it there. Got the chronograph. As always out here just after the rain, gotta have that thermocell. And then there's the bore sight. So this is what we're shooting. These are Federal borlock 270 grain. And then I got the charges here measured out of the Blackhorn 209. And then we got some Federal 209A shot primers. So I'm gonna get you set up over my shoulder here to kind of watch the process, take a couple shots, and we'll see where we're at for zeroing. Alright, so as always with the muzzleloader, gonna make sure there's no cap. And this is fresh and clean. So what we're gonna do is pop a couple rounds off, or primers off, to make sure that we get it started. Mosquitoes out here today are pretty bad. Hopefully that thermocell kicks in. So we're gonna let that smoke clear a little bit. So she's set and ready. So like I said, 50 grains by weight. All right, so we will throw a cap in. And see what we're looking at. All right. So I had a feeling the thermocell wasn't working, so I paused everything, got the thermocell. I got it down here. It's nice and warm now, heating up. These, when you live in the South and you're in the swamp, it's nothing but mosquitoes. So we'll go ahead and get all things squared up, and we'll take our first shot and see where we hit when we're on paper. So that's still a pretty hefty hit at 50 grains, which, you know, that's what you need for deer hunting. Based on the ballistic calculator, and what I figured out is it should be 1400-ish feet per second for muzzle velocity. I do have the chronograph out here today, which we're gonna, after we get it squared away, shoot one through it. What we're looking at is, I think that's a 3-inch target circle that I'm shooting at down there. It looks like we're about 6 to 8 inches low. So let's see, quarter MOA, so we're going to come up 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16. So if my math is right, that should be about 2-ish inches. Okay, that's out there. And this Blackhorn is actually pretty clean when all things are considered for shooting. So you can fire a few rounds through it and it be okay. So we'll go ahead and load up another round. You know, when I was a kid, we used to use the Pyrex, and then we switched to the 777 pellets, and this just takes me back to when I was a kid, carrying around loose powder and loading up. And the stuff, it's so nice because when you shoot, it's so consistent. Position here, take another shot. Yeah, we just barely moved up some, so come up half a turret, because if not, we're gonna be out here all day shooting all this stuff, trying to figure it out. And I preloaded 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots, being optimistic. So we'll see. Federal borlocks, man, they load super easy. They push right down. That's 2 shots through it, and that thing pushes like a dream. I know some of my buddies who use the saboted slugs with the plastic, and you're almost pushing them against a tree trying to get them in after the 2nd, 3rd shot. So, alright, let's see where we land here. Alright, so first 2 shots are about 8 and 7 inches low. We are 3 inches high and to the right. So we're going to move to the left. I count because if I've gone too far, then I can come half the clicks back. This says it's a 1/4 MOA. I assume that's at 100 yards, but it doesn't say, so I have no clue. That's probably what it is. We're shooting at 50-ish yards, so I think if my math is right, you would have to double that for the movement. So it would be 8 clicks per inch. Barrel is a little warm now. And I have to crack into this new package of the bullets here. Hopefully I don't need another. Nope. Thank you, Federal. And these things hit hard, man. Like I said, I use these in my Optima Acura. I forget which one it's got. I've got the one with the adjustable trigger, and I took 2 bucks with it on one hunt a year or 2 ago, and these things just mushroomed out to this like $half size flower. Just incredible to see. In both deer less than like 20 or 30 yards. And as you see, I can still, sitting down without very much effort, push these things down in here. Alright, we'll let this sit for a second. Make sure we're still recording. So elevation is not too bad. Like I said, it's that 3-inch circle down there. I'm the same height as the top of the 3-inch circle. So I'm going to move my left and right, and then I'll bring it back down once I get in shape. Well, I think that warrants us to walk down there and take a peek at it. And I'll show you where this last one hit. Alright, so here we go. First 2 shots down here. This was 1, this was 2. 8 clicks, you can see obviously didn't move it very much. Then half a turn, put it at this top corner here, and then I just moved it left. So moving it left brought it down a little bit as well there. And I mean, this is all good enough for government work for a deer, but we're gonna go ahead and load up 2 more shots, leave the settings where they're at, and see where this group falls. because if this group falls up here, definitely going to bring the group down and over. But if this group continues right inside this circle, we're good. This is 50 yards all day. That's getting the work done. So let's head back up and get loaded up again. Alright, so back up here, we'll give it, let's see how many more rounds I got. I got 4 more powder charges set up here. We'll do at least 2 and see how they go. Let's see. Go ahead and pop this apart. And that's what I love about these new CVAs. And you take them apart without any issues, any problems. This wolf I've had for a long time. I went from an old inline to this thing. Man, I'll tell you this. This is not bad. This is not bad at all. So, I'm tempted to swab it, but I don't know if I want to swab it. You know, we're just gonna roll. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll. We'll do at least 1 more, and then if we have to swab, we'll swab. But I mean, this thing, if I was shooting those 777 pellets, this thing would be all crusted to anything. And you know, the most important thing is being consistent with a muzzleloader. If you're not getting your bullet all the way down seated tight against the powder, you're creating a little gap, and you're not going to get good ignition, and your bullets are going to be off when you shoot. So your accuracy is definitely going to be diminished. I'm not perfect at it, but this is my favorite method of hunting, and I have tried to be as accurate and consistent as possible when it comes to doing this. This is when I always see the biggest deer, biggest bucks. It's of course during the rut, and you're seeing them go. So like I said, look at that. I mean, I can't be more impressed with Federal on how their bullets work. These borlocks, I used to shoot through this, the 350 lead, and then it was hard to get a hold of the lead. And the lead, I've seen the copper ones, but they were more expensive, so I bought the copper ones just because that's all I could get a hold of. I've used Power Belt, but I'm going to tell you this, I've not had any good luck with Power Belt. They fragment as soon as they hit the deer, and it's basically like a high-powered rifle bomb going off, hitting the skin and not penetrating all the way through. These things, if they don't go all the way through the deer, I'm finding them just underneath the hide on the backside where you just slit the fur and they pop out. But the fact that this stays together and you get such a massive wound channel all the way through the animal is what I love about them. And I mean, other people I hunt with use the Power Belts and don't have any issues with them, but I just personally have not had good experience with it, and I don't like the fact that it breaks apart. I want that big heavy hit of energy. It's just to the left, still inside the orange. You know, we'll give it a swab. We'll see if that makes a difference. Because then if that brings it right down in there, we know we're good. I know the barrel's warm, and the first shot you take with these muzzleloaders, because we always shoot them, sight them in. At the end of the season, I clean them, get it nice and clean and spotless, and then usually the night before, when we're all together, we'll pop a couple of the primers through them, get them primed up, just to get the oils out of there from where the powder is going to sit. You get that prime charge in there. and then I actually load it the night before and leave it, and I leave my muzzle loader loaded all season if I don't shoot at something. It's far and few between where I don't at least shoot at something during the season, so my gun will stay loaded for a week, maybe the very longest. But I have had where I've forgotten to load or unload the muzzle loader, as far as taking the powder and bullet out of it. Always take the primer out, but I've left the powder and the slug in it. It sat in my gun cabinet all year. Come out the next year, drop the ramrod. Ramrod shows that it's still loaded, and then I shoot the round and I still hit target. So it's kind of crazy, the advancement in muzzleloader and the black powder, because black powder, I guess back then, was not stable and it would get moisture in it and cause all kinds of issues. So got all kinds of cleaning stuff here. I'm just gonna run one of these seasoning cleaning patches down it, and then we'll call it a day for the cleaning. We'll shoot that last round through it and see where we hit. See, the thermocell is going out now. I think I lost. No, still got juice. You can tell when the thermostat quits working because these mosquitoes go crazy for a few seconds. My new ramrod doesn't do this, but on this Wolf, it extends and then will lock in as a range rod. I should just get a range rod, but I mean, you can see that's pretty nasty, but with just that one swipe, this thing is clean as a whistle. Let's see if I can show you. See if we can get it on camera. Yeah, you can see right down inside there. That thing is like shiny right there, spotless. It's like the old 007 video game. But look at that. One swipe, clean as a whistle. Back in the day with the Pyrodex, the old Pyrodex, we used to take our guns completely apart. We had quick release scope mounts, and we would lay it in the bathtub and soak it in dish soap. Man, I still got that gun. I haven't used it in quite some time. I just bought this year the conversion for 209 shotgun primers, because I was going to set that one up for the girls to shoot on, and decided that this Wolf, now that I have that new gun, I'm pretty sure it's an Acura because it's got the adjustable trigger on it. It's an Acura LR. It's the long barrel. Alright, so we'll pop a cap through it real quick, seeing as we swabbed it. And I'll load up this final round. So I couldn't find any loads on 50 grains. I think it's 54 or 56, they say, is what their load data shows minimum of. And I just kind of did math from there to figure out what ours would be at 50. I guess bumping it 6 grains probably wouldn't make a difference, but we'll see. This is shooting kind of sweet, and if it gets it in there and gets it done, 50 yards is probably the furthest my girls are going to take a shot at anyways. Most of my shots, honestly, have been 50-ish yards. That night I took the 2 deer with my Acura. One was at 150, one was at 80, and that's the furthest I've shot to shoot at a deer with a muzzleloader. But that one with the longer barrel, I've kind of tuned it with the powder charges, and I think I'm sitting at 80 grains by volume, or 80 grains by weight, which just shoots these bullets slick. I mean, it puts it in super tight at 100 yards. Alright, so let's take it down, walk down there and take a look at that last shot. Alright, so this was the last shot before I cleaned. This is the new shot here, maybe this one. That shot there, that's a pretty tight group. I can't complain on that. That's right in there. So, I might come back out later when I got a little more time, because it's starting to get dark and the mosquitoes are getting really bad, and shoot one or two more. Try some 56 grain and see if 56 grain. But I mean, with that tight of a group, I mean, those two are almost touching. I can't complain about that, especially at 50 yards. So at 50 yards, they should be touching like that. If that was a 100-yard group, that'd be amazing. And it might do that at 100 yard. I just don't know the drop. So I'm gonna pull back here. We will shoot through the chronograph and see if we can get a feet per second, and then wrap it up for tonight. All right, guys. So here's the last power charge. Get this guy set up. Down in there. All right, we are capped. Let's see. Trying to zoom in, see if you can see. It's kind of hard to see that chronograph. It's a little blurry, but do the best we can do. Of course, in typical fashion, because I don't have another round ready, it doesn't read. But that'll be it for this episode. I'll get all this stuff packed up because it's kind of dark now. Well, getting darker now. And mosquitoes are tearing me up. So we'll be out again shortly to let the girls shoot this and get their take on it and see how it goes. But until then, this is Virginia Buck Wild. Alright guys, tricked you. I'm back. So I found one more powder charge in the bottom of that Ziploc bag. I set it up this time again. We'll see if it takes it this time. I pushed the button after setup, so hopefully that's what the 4 bars means instead of the 2, is that it's ready to go. By the way, the breech plug is the standard breech plug. It's not the Blackhorn breech plug. I've only had one issue so far, and that was on the 5th shot. I went to shoot another round after getting the target load or the grouping to move it over just an inch, and it gave me a misfire twice. So I cleaned the breech plug all as well. So let's go ahead and see what we can get our ears. That's the last thing I want to do. Alright, so set, ready, cock. And again, nothing. But I guess that's what you get for Amazon products. I'll have to go home and mess with it some more and read the instructions and see what the deal is. But now there's 2 bullets in there I get to dig out and see how they mushroom. But that'll honestly and truly be it for this episode. Alright guys, so with the chronograph not working, this is what I did some research and some basic math on my end. Here's the article referencing 1,000 foot-pounds for white-tailed deer and successful harvesting. This next slide is the Blackhorn load list. They don't have my specific bullet, so we use the 270 information for the Power Belt Arrow Tip Platinums. This is the specs on the Federal Borlock. This is the basic math that I did to kind of figure out the grains or feet per second per grains for the different loads. And I guess if you look, the more grains you had, probably the least amount of burn, so the slower it was per grain. But this is the one I referenced. This is what our load ends up being at 50 grains by weight. Here's the diameter of the borlocks. With this all added in, punched into the Hornady calculator, which is an amazing calculator for trying to figure out what things are. And here's what our load looks like. So we're kind of short. We're only at about 40 yards for our load, so we'll probably have to change this up a little bit. I would really like to see it higher as far as foot-pounds of energy further out, but it is what it is. This is a baseline. Here's what reference for a 12-gauge shotgun with a 300 grain slug. You can see they get it all the way out to 140 for the amount of energy expected and needed. This next one is a 20-gauge 250, which is more realistic, and this is the kind of data that we want to mirror. So with this slide here, this is with 56 grains, which is very similar to the 20 grain or 20 gauge shotgun load. So this is what we're probably going to be building next and trying out. This is my Acura and what I use, and the deer I harvested last year was at 150, which if you look at the energy, it's just at 1,000. Here's going to be a picture of the 2 deer that I shot, and you can see circled there. This is the far side of the deer where the bullet came all the way through and was sitting just underneath the fur. Plenty of energy to make it through the deer and drop them at 150 yards. Here's the 2 bullets recovered from both of those deer. You can see that bullet performs amazing. They're just awesome bullets. You can't beat them for the energy it takes to push them down inside the barrel, especially after a couple shots, the accuracy, and then the performance. So there it is. That's the review and the math that we got on that. So until next time, this is Virginia Buck Wild, over and out.